Hey, everybody. Welcome to Grab Your Keys. I'm super excited today. We have a phenomenal friend of mine and guest, Kristine Kennedy from the state of Florida, top producer at S&P. Kristine, what do you think your 3 keys to success have been?
I think the first is so on a personal level, it's thinking the right thoughts, right? Picking your affirmation. I'm really big into thinking the right thoughts and then speaking the right words. And I always have an affirmation, always, 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 always. And I think that mine right now is every day in every way. I'm getting better and better and better. And that's what I think all day.
And stronger and stronger and stronger. Every day in every way.
Every day in every way. And, it covers a lot of things. And I think that the number one thing is to think that you can do it and think that the answer is on the way and think that it's coming to you.
How much time during the course of a day do you take to actually think? I mean, to take that time and have that, you have lots of creative juices that are always, in you. How often do you take that budget, that time and time block for you to think about what you're working on your business instead of constantly being in your business?
So my morning time, when I feel that when I wake up first thing in the morning, that is when I am creative. And that's when I take my time to really get my creative side out and think creatively. That's my morning time. It's before the world even wakes up. It's quiet. And so I take the morning for my creative time before I don't open my phone, before the email, before all those things happen. And then it's before I eat, I take a shower. I think that so many times when you're younger, the anxiety just kind of takes you over. You think you think you're going to die, you think with whatever, and it's not really, but the anxiety just goes up so high. And you think, what if the loan doesn't close on time? What if they don't like me? What if they don't, all the negative things. And I think that we can spin in that. And I think that if you set the intention to do the right thing and to make a difference and to, just do the best you can do every single day at the excellence that you can do it, that it can be done, it will all work itself out and it will all land. And I think it can take us over the top very easily.
He's an entrepreneur. I mean, his accolades go on and on if you look him up. He's known as the results guy. Tony Jeary is here with us today. He helps high-performing CEOs and salespeople throughout the world do things, get results faster every single day. Do things, get results faster, get results faster. And we are super excited to have him. He helps every top performer stay focused, and we are going to learn so much from him today. So, Tony, welcome to Grab Your Keys.
I think being clear on what you want to achieve just keeps coming to my mind. And so I guess the subset of that, though, would be goal setting. So, Sue, one of the 3 things I would say is goal setting is a big key to success. Number 2, I guess I would say, time management. It'd be hard to not say time management wouldn't want to be in the top of your list. Time management would be a key to success. And then, are you a person of value? I think the world rewards people that bring value to the table. And so I think I would nail it down to goal setting, time management, and bringing value.
How do you define what your high leverage activities are, Tony?
How do you define what your high leverage activities are? It's the things that matter the most to reach what you clearly want to achieve. So I think that out of that 100 hours that we all have, most of us should take about half of that and invest it in our personal lives, and about half of it and invest it in our professional lives. That means that you would have 2 sets of HLAs. You would have your professional HLAs and you'd have your personal HLAs. Well, I think the same thing applies for most any entrepreneur, whether you're in the loan business or not, is you want to make sure you deliver great value.
So why do you love helping companies and people succeed?
I think most people, including myself, have an altruistic component to their mind. And I think people feel good when they help other people win. I don't, you do, don't you, Sue?
I love helping people.
And
It
when
makes me happy.
when you give them an insight and you give them advice, or you show them something that you did wrong and help them not to do it, what you did, and all those things, and people appreciate you and thank you, it's a high.
She is the National Director of Growth and Development at Success Mortgage Partners. That is a mouthful, but we're super excited to have you because I know you have a ton of great information.
Number one, I would say passion. So you gotta absolutely love what you do, whether that's in your life, in your work, in anything. My number two would be having a team, and I mean a team in life and a team at work. Surround yourself with a team of people that believe the same things that you do and want to fight as hard and work as hard with you. The third one is control. So I know that sounds like kind of a weird one, but let me tell you what I mean by that. So like my thoughts, what I give my energy to, how I speak to myself, the goals that I set, how I spend my free time, how I handle challenges, and my boundaries. So if I focus on that circle of the things that I can, every day is going to be incredible.
How do you balance the working, the mom, the sports, the getting home and the dinner? How does that all work? I mean, how does that work in your house?
It's funny because everyone says balance, right? There isn't one, Sue, and you know this as well as I do. It's survival mode. It really is, and it is having a team of people. I'm very, very blessed because my mother is heavily involved in our life and my mother-in-law lives with me. So that is a huge bonus on my part. She helps. I get home to a home-cooked meal every day. And she's always like, hey, you know what? You work all day. This is how I can contribute to the family. I'm lucky my older boys are 18 and 20, so they get to help with the 6-year-old. So that I've got some added assets there and resources with them.
Right.
But yeah, it takes a village. It really does.
Yeah, everybody always said, like, are you upset that you don't go to the grocery store, or that you can't make dinner every night? And I always was like, I am not, because I know what I'm fantastic at. Mm-hmm. I know that when I'm at my office for the 8 hours, I can do more for my family than I can, doing wash or making dinner. And but that's not for everybody. Everybody needs to make their decisions of what makes what they find joy and success in.
To work with some of the most incredible women in this industry, to have and be surrounded by like-minded people in the set that they go through the same things, and to be able to lean on them for not only work and things like that, but hey, how do you balance your work and life and kids and everything else? That to me is who I admire. And the you guys, all of them, not just the women, have a hard job. I'm married to a loan officer, so I watch what he goes through on a daily basis. So all of you, to be honest.
And the loan officers who have been in it for a long time make it look super easy. And that being a loan officer and really being the head of growth and development, it's an art. It's not a science.
You have to listen to them and then show them how you can truly help them and partner with them.
She is a rock star on the West Coast and in Florida. And I can't wait to hear all the great things that you have to talk to our audience about. Being a rock star mom, being a rock star loan officer, being a rock star branch manager. I have been waiting to get you on this show so that we really could dive deep. Are there, in particular, 3 specific keys that you believe leads to your success day in and day out? What are those 3 keys?
Yeah, at first I think it's systems and process, right? So James Clear has this amazing quote that I think about all the time. Every day, every time I'm doing something new, I'm like, hey, well, what's the system and process around? Like, we don't rise to the level of our goals or our vision. We fall to levels of our systems and processes. And so I think about that. And I'm like, if we have this goal that correlates to our vision, how are we going to get there? And we need to get there by building the systems and processes that support us for that, so that nothing falls through the cracks. And then we need to be able to adjust that. So systems and processes. And then the second thing is probably constant improvement. So I like to say we adjust the flywheel and get better and better and better at our craft. We
Mm-hmm.
ask for feedback. What can we do better for you next time? What can we do different for anybody that you refer to us? Like, how can we improve? We are human, but we want to get better. And so we always look at these things on almost we do it on a weekly basis and sometimes daily. Have a little process improvement book. I write things down. How do we get better?
I just wanted everyone to stop right there and hear what Stacia just said, because I was waiting for you to say it. I was like, what, she just said? What do you have next to you?
It's a process improvement book. So it's just a little book. It's actually on my Remarkable. I have a folder in there and I'm like, process improvement. I write it down and I'm like, wow, that happened. Like my clients were doing a 10-day close and they got on an airplane and went to Australia. And I'm like, mind blown. How does that happen? You know, so you write these things down as you're going through it. Or if we're I'm talking to somebody who we want to hire and we want to bring in, or we're onboarding somebody, process improvement, like any concept and like area within the business, we write it down. And my team does this too. And so then once a week on Fridays, we have our process improvement meeting. And it's really straightforward. We talk about lead to legacy for our clients. We talk about the process flow within the business. What can we do better? How can we get better? Where can we adjust? Where can we flex? And where can we just slightly adjust the flywheel?
What's one of the tools that you use that you don't think that you could do this business without?
You know that Airtable is my it's my central repository. It's my brain. It's our ability to like sort of like I like to say like USB plug into the systems and processes that we've built. It has definitely changed the game for us. It's allowed us to be super successful. It's allowed us to onboard people easily. And I really couldn't live without it, honestly.
And I love everything about it. How, on that note, do you take off your mortgage hat and put on your mom hat?
Yeah.
Like how does that work? You have two little ones. How do you balance being the CEO of this, major thing and being the CEO mom?
You know this, Sue. It's hard. I'm not going to say that it's easy, because it's not easy. Every day is difficult. There's challenges every day. You know that in this industry, like we don't sleep, right? Like there is this constant, as the CEOs of our business and as the CEOs of our team and our clients and all the things, the people we work with, it's hard to shut it off. I'd be lying to say to you that I do shut it off. I wake up at 2 a.m. I think about things, but there are like non-negotiables with my family. So, I'm working really intentionally at, putting down the device when I'm having dinner with my kids, right? In the morning, like I don't turn on my email. That's not the first thing I do. Like I go and I do a lot intentionally. Like this morning I meditated. I always meditate in the morning. It's a practice I have to do. I'm not good at it, but I do it. I've done it for years. I do think it calms me down. And my kids were up. And so they sat with me and meditated with me this morning for like 10 minutes, which is really sweet. But they've seen me do that. So they just got out of bed. They came down, snuggled on the couch, and we meditated. So there's those moments, right? Like the sporting events. I won't miss my kids' sporting events. Like I'm not going to do it. The games. I might miss a practice or two, but I'm not going to miss the games.
Yeah. So I always said, and you might have heard me say this, but I totally agree on not missing the game. So I had a 5-minute rule. If you were not going to be in something for more than 5 minutes, then I didn't have to be there. But if you were playing basketball or you were even a swim meet, like any of those things, I would definitely be there. And I loved that we have such a fantastic job that when we have to go to after school activities at 3:00 or be the room mom for our class, we can do that. I am super excited today to have Dale Vermillion on our podcast. He's done everything in the mortgage industry. There's not a stone that's not turned over for you. You are an award-winning trainer, an acclaimed speaker, an author. You have a podcast. You've trained over 1 million people in this industry, and you've been in the industry for decades. What are the 3 keys you believe you need to be successful?
Oh. So number one, you have to focus predominantly and primarily on relationship. I think that's the number one thing. And in doing so, you've got to really be looking out for how you're going to help your customers. That's got to be your number one goal. Many salespeople, the mistake they make is They're focused on selling something. They're focused on making money. That's the wrong route. I teach a principle called the others first principle. It's based on Philippians 2, 3, and 4, which is my life verse. It says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in all things with humility, values others above yourself, looking out for their interests and not your own. That's our goal. We want to, number one, build great relations with our customers and make sure they're out there. Number two, you got to communicate. This is the number one problem in today's world, Sue, is we have become so tech heavy, particularly in the mortgage industry. Everybody's out there pushing links. Everybody's out there trying to do loans electronically. You're not going to build a relationship electronically. You're not going to create connection electronically. You're not going to create trust and loyalty electronically. And you can't really help a borrower understand all the reasons why a mortgage makes sense if all you're doing is electronic. That's number two. And I think number three is you really just have to have a plan in everything you do. You have to have a structure and a system. You can't just be random and reactive, but you got to be prepared and proactive is what you've got to be.
So relationships, communicate, and plan. And if you're not doing those three things in the market that we're in right now, in any market and in any industry, what would be the first thing you would tell an originator or someone in order to pivot into starting to do those things? What's the first thing they should do to change their activity?
Well, in the world that you live in, the retail world where you're working with referral partnerships, the very first thing I would tell someone today is get out of your darn living room and get out there where the action's at. That this is by far, Sue, the number one mistake I see in the mortgage business today. The pandemic changed everything. And I see too many loan officers who want to sit in their living room and make lots of money. And that's just not going to happen. Not in this marketplace. Oh, I think the number one secret to a good marriage is just each person has to be more concerned about the other one than themselves. I think that's what it comes down to is, if we're putting our spouse before ourselves and the other spouse is doing the same, and my wife's been incredible about that, our whole marriage, that's what makes it work. Maybe because I talk all the time, I'm tired when I get home. I don't know, but we just trust each other, we love each other, and we look out for each other. I think that's really what it comes down to.